I know, Chuck. I'll mute.
There was one other remark I wanted to make, which is that I did a scan of the disk usage on everybody's Grape 2 uh, systems, and generally people are in the 90% full on the hard disk. So, we only have a few weeks left to replace those. So just bear that in mind. John, you're the winner at 99%. But the next note is at 94%. So we're getting close.
Yeah, that'll be tonight's task to swap that out.
And there are 22 nodes currently reporting data.
That's all. Wow.
Yeah.
I have to work with Gary on getting the extra ones shipped out. And I don't know if Nathaniel wants his finger in that pot or not. So
What do you mean? Do I want it?
where you want extra nodes put in geographically.
Whatever. You can just work with Gary on that.
Okay. Gary's the man.
Gary is the man. I do have some really exciting news.
Ooh.
So Gary and I have been talking with K3LR, and he wants to have a personal space weather station put in over at his station. And so, yes. And so we are, we're probably going to do a Whisper Demon Grape. I mean, okay. But I mean, honestly, John, there's no reason why we can't put in both, because we're going to put in one antenna there, but we could put a splitter in, and there's no reason why we can't run both the Whisper Demon Grape and the Grape 2 there.
Is the Whisper Grape transmitting?
No,
it's just receiving.
It's all receiving. And I mean, there may actually be good reason to put both of them there. So if we have like an extra Grape 2 and you want to, yeah, like that, there's so I mean, here I can.
We'll coordinate that with Gary. He should know where K3LR is.
Yeah, so I can actually share what we talked about. What do you think, Gary? We can kind of share the preliminary plans, don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I think this will be good kind of to get everyone on board.
Just keep in mind, if you're not familiar with the call sign K3LR, it's one of the biggest multi ham radio contesting stations in North America. A consistent winner in a lot of domestic and DX contests. So Tim knows a thing or two about RF. He was very involved in the early cell phone business and is running DX engineering. So Tim knows a thing or two about radio.
It'll be a challenging environment.
Yes, it will, which is part of why we're doing this. We're doing it for a few reasons. One is I really believe that for the personal space weather station to be successful, it needs to be usable by hams who are actually transmitting, and it needs to be useful to hams who are transmitting, because if it's not, I mean, like there are certainly those people out there who are just interested in running a black box science, and there are those people, but I think we're going to reach a lot more people if we're able to come up with a device that is actually useful to them as a ham radio operator and is compatible with their equipment. So of course there are going to be challenges with this, but I think this is one nice thing about Tim Duffy is that he is very forward thinking. He's a good engineer. He's really rolling the red carpet out for us. And I think this gives us a nice laboratory to see how our equipment works in this environment and improve it in the future.
And he's only a 15-minute drive from my house,
which is even better. So I think you're really going to like this, John. This is like, I think you're really going to like this. So yeah, so he wants us to put a station, and let me bring up regular Google Maps so we can zoom out a little bit here. So if you go to qrz.com, you can go find K3LR, and you can go to detail, and you can click this and you can hit view larger map. And here you are.
We're not seeing what you're showing.
Oh, okay. Now you are. Okay. So yeah, here's K3LR, 44 Elliott Road, West Middlesex, Pennsylvania. So here's the Pennsylvania-Ohio border.
Oh,
Here's
that's not where I thought it was. Okay.
there's Route 80. So we can zoom in here. So this is his station. Okay.
Good grief.
So, yeah, it's really impressive. So these are all of his antennas. He's got multiple towers that I think are each about 150 or 200 feet tall. The entire towers rotate. They have stacked monoband Yagis on them that are, of course, phased. He has phased receive antennas out here. I think this is his like private residence over here. And then this is his operator barn. So that's where he has the multi station. And he also has a 6-person bunk room in there. And also an engineering shop so that you can go in there, win your contest. You can have your multi team sleep there. They can win their contest. And if there's anything that goes wrong with any equipment, they can fix it right on the spot. So he also owns the houses across the street. Over here, he owns these 2 houses as well. So this 157 is where we're going to put the personal space weather station.
Well, that should be perfect.
Yes, and right now the proposal, what he's saying is that we would basically have this space over here that would just be dedicated to personal space weather station stuff. And he said that this is going to turn into like an Airbnb sort of thing, but he said he's going to give us an entire bedroom to ourselves that we're going to be able to put the equipment in. And he said we can have unfettered access to the equipment, and we can go in and we'll be able to have our own rack, our own room. If someone needs to stay over there while they're working on the equipment, they can do that. So that'll be there, and we can put the antenna arrays out here. And when we were looking at the date that we figured out for the installation would probably be August 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So by that time, he would have his team trench and lay the coax out to put the equipment so that when we show up for August 4th, the coax is all trenched and everything. And we just have to do is put up the antennas and do the electronics. So yeah, I would think we're going to put in probably, we're still figuring out exactly which HF antenna we're going to put in. So we have some discussion about that. The candidates right now is, of course, the RS EAV, DX engineering. I have to really, the DXE RSEAV-1FV active vertical. So this is one candidate for the HF receive antenna that we're looking at right now. There are a few other options that we'll hear more about at the HamSCI workshop. We would put in Jonathan Rizzo's VLF antenna there as well, and also a ground magnetometer. I don't see any, I see lots of good reasons to put both a whisper demon grape and a grape 2 in at the same place. I would imagine we can, split this off into 2, put on a preamp if we need to, and then feed both systems. And then that's really nice because we'd have redundant measurements and all of that sort of stuff. And they're slightly different systems. So this is what we're looking at. We go down August 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. I'm proposing that we have a team of people from Case Western, Scranton, and NJIT, and I guess Alabama if they want to come. So basically the people on this project come out for the installation, and we all work together as a team to do this. And that's about where we are right now. What do you think?
Looks excellent.
Yeah, Tim really is rolling out the red carpet for us. He said he has IT teams that can basically give us whatever internet access we need, full remote access. You know, he's got teams that can do the trenching. You know, we're going to continue talking with him about the about this, but I think for now the important thing would be for Case Western, if you want to put that on your calendar, August 4th through 7th, that we're going to meet out at K3LR. And if you want to come up with a roster of people to help with the install, and Tim seems pretty, you know, I can't 100% confirm this, but it sounded like he's pretty flexible on the number of people that we have there. I think he has a certain number of spots that can house people right on the property. So I think we would, you know, figure out a core group of students or, you know, students or appropriate engineers that would stay actually on the property for the installation. But he's also planning on like having a barbecue and having the TV media come out and do this. So I would say like probably, you know, anyone on this call, if they want to come, you know, they could probably book a hotel nearby or something, and then could also, you know, we can all meet up and have a barbecue and work on putting this thing together. So it sounds like a really fun opportunity for us all to get together and get this going and see Tim's station.
I think getting the receivers away from a broadcast is great. My solution was move all the receivers 15 miles from my house, but this is a lot better across the street.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best we can do, you know, for this type of facility. But I think this, having all the high-powered transmitters over here and having this across the street, I think it's a very reasonable plan. And as I said, I think, you know, whether we like it or not, I do think if we can figure out engineering ways to make our receive systems compatible with, you know, you figure you have an amateur who has a half-acre lot or something in a suburban environment, if we can make our systems usable and useful to those people, I think it will very much help increase adoption. I know that's a tall order, but you know, we'll of course always have the people that do have the large farms and the large kind of rural areas where they can really make good measurements. But I think there's also value to figuring out how we can make this work for a more average person.
Yeah, it's all basic physics, so.
Yeah. And I mean, and you know, some of the things you can do are like, you know, transmit receive switches. You know, as much as we want continuous receive from all of the great, you know, from WWV and everything else, like if maybe the solution is, you know, if you're operating sideband, you know, 25% duty cycle or something like that, maybe you do switch it off periodically, and then when the person's not operating ham radio, maybe we still get useful measurements. So I think those are all things that we can consider.
You could always do what's called full break-in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can also learn the desensing that you're going to experience just by letting it run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tim
So
has
there's
a
all-
reverse beacon network node there. He's definitely doing receiving and feeding the RBN network anyhow. So we've got proof that it works there somewhere.
Yeah. And that's what I told him too. I said, you know, a good model for like where to start with the engineering for this is, you know, whatever the best practices are for your RBN skimmers, multiband RBN skimmers, they're probably an appropriate starting point for what we need for our receivers as well.
Remember one thing,
What's that?
the antenna isn't the only way RF can get in and give you problems.
That's very true.
And so that's something that, thinking about that up front is a lot easier.
Yes. So
But
I think,
the
yes,
the speaker lead can make a very good antenna sometimes. And that's certainly true on the Grape One.
the speaker lead.
Well, the audio lead.
Yeah. We're probably going to have pretty pretty good discussions with Tim before we actually go out and do this. He very much cares about having a low RFI environment, perhaps more than anyone else we know. When you go out there, one of the first things I believe he does is he takes all your cell phone chargers, and and he and he'll give you a loaner that's a linear supply, or he says there are no wall warts anywhere on this property. So that's another thing we're going to have to do with our system. We're going to have to make sure we have clean linear supplies for everything, because he just systematically goes through everything and make sure that there is nothing there that's going to cause trouble. So I think if there's anyone who's going to be thinking about how RFI gets into these systems, I do think it's going to be Tim. And I do think I think you're right, Bob. It's something we need to think about too.
Okay.
All right.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns on that? Okay. And any other announcements? Okay. Dr. Frizzell, just let me know when I'm not quite sure when the next HamSCI newsletter comes out, but this one is the...
I don't know exactly. All I know is that Ed is working on it, and
Okay.
I think they're working on it quickly. But I have not seen any copy on it yet. I have been told that there are different things that are happening.
That's
Gary
fine.
Gary might know more than I.
I would just feel bad posting the wrong link every week if it was
Yeah.
updated.
It is not yet updated.
No, it's imminent, that's for sure.
One other update for you, Dr. Frizzell. If this presentation is happening, I think we should pick a date because we're down to effectively 2 dates before HamSCI.
I don't worry about it too much. I think I spoke to Christina, in person last week. I think she has an idea of what she needs to. I think it will all be fine.
Well, I just
So don't worry about having to get those done before the HamSCI workshop.
Well,
I think we should still have, we're still going to need these talks and discussions, but we don't need to have it for the HamSCI workshop. I need to be right back.
okay. I will put it on more of a backlog list then. Kong is not here.
He might be, I saw him logged in.
Oh,
Yeah, I just got here.
oh hey.
Hi.
Do you have any updates?
I do. So Bill Blackwell and I we verified that my code runs on the Raspberry Pi without interfering any of the regular data collection processes. So that is good news. So I'm gonna go ahead and make some preparation for deploying this code to all of the nodes so we can convert the important dates into digital RF. And then after that, I can do some talks with Boo and Engelke to be able to upload this code to the Alabama server. And we're getting really close to get all of these important data up to the server.
Okay.
I need to have a list of the node numbers that you're planning to upload. I have to create those in advance before you'll be able to upload anything.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if anyone has that list of nodes? John or Rachel, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to make sure it's up to date, but I don't think anything much has changed, but Rachel noticed that there was a couple that weren't quite up to date, so. Now the crisis on my part is my Node 1001, the disk is about full. I was gonna change it out tonight,
Oh, okay.
but if you can give me something to run tonight, if I have enough room on the drive, I'll run it, but I'm at 99% and probably edging towards disaster.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I can give you the code ahead of time. Mm.
Be a good way to test it out too.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And John, have you received the drives yet?
Yes, the drives came in last Friday. And
Oh,
I'm
perfect.
in my sequence now to try to figure out the shipping container. I'm working with FedEx people here at Case.
Mhm.
He had suggested a cell phone shipping box, but he
Oh,
didn't have any in, so he was supposed to get some in and get back to me. So I'm gonna have to get a hold of him again. In which case we'll just get 35 of those and have a reusable shipping box. I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard from him yet, but work in progress.
that will make my life considerably easier.
Yeah. We do not want to be making reusable shipping boxes.
Okay. And I will perhaps go through the,
I will send you my spreadsheet of what I have as the list,
okay.
unless Gary has updated my list.
I, I know I sent Nathaniel a list, for the grant purposes of who got all the stuff originally. I know that you were talking grape ones or two, or DRS or grape twos.
Grape twos.
Okay, grape twos, I think we know the two that came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I want to have, no, I want to keep track of who has the latest master in it. Right now, it looks like I still have it. But if you've changed it, that means you have it.
Yeah, I've not had any need to edit it because we haven't sent any
Okay.
more out. So
Okay.
if you know which two came back, that's good enough.
Now work on
Yeah.
that and I'll send Rachel and you both the latest copy.
Okay. That
Yeah,
sounds,
I'll look at it and just confirm, but sure, yes.
I
and then
just
I,
don't want to get into a point where, we have 3 different masters running around and none of them converge.
and then I can send that list straight up to Dr. Zorman and hopefully get our shipping labels so we can get ready to ship these things as soon as possible.
Yeah, nodes 1001, 1004, 1032, I can do directly myself, so.
Perfect. Are you seeing any possible issues on the drive formatting? I know it's a lot of work.
No, I don't see any issues. It's open the thing up, put it in the case or do my magic and put it back in the bag and then hopefully put it in the shipping box, put the stickers on it for the node numbers. I'm going to have them label the drive that's coming back as well with their node number, so that doesn't get lost or confused. And then we'll just have the 2 drive exchange going on.
So we should put another sticker in the box for them.
That's what I'm going to have.
Perfect.
I'd like to bring up a question about Kung's program that is going to convert the CSV to DRF on just the, I think, eclipse date of April 8th, or maybe that date and the day before and the day after. That needs to be done before the drives are swapped,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And that's going to require some extra disk space.
Yeah, and I'm the one who's going to get in trouble if there's anybody going to get in trouble.
Because
Which is a good thing.
when I ran the conversion program on my system, it took, I think about it, it built a 3.5 gigabyte directory. And
Ooh.
that's what has to be uploaded. So, you know, that's a significant amount of disk space. And that's just one day, and we're doing 3 days, I think. Is that right, Kung?
We'll be doing 10 days actually, including the Gannon storms.
Ooh.
About
Okay.
7 days.
So either you want to upload one of those one day at a time, and then delete that and run the next date conversion, or you've got to have enough disk space to do all 10 days. And that has to be done before you swap the disk. So some of these disks are at 90+% utilization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta think about this a little more and see what's the best course of action here.
In addition, I believe, Bill, you're using LFTP and a script to upload the DRF, correct?
Yes,
So that needs to be installed
Ooh.
on the Grape 2s because it's currently not on those Raspbian systems, as well as a script to do the upload and whatever else, you know.
Mm-hmm. I have a question regarding that too. So the way that the grep ones uploads the data is using LFTP, and there's a token associated with that process. So this token is unique for each of the node. So this might require user intervention to be able to actually input this token into the system.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we could find an alternative so that user does not have to intervene to reduce any sort of user error in the process.
No.
Would that be? Is there any possible alternative to FTP? Bill?
that is not a simple, that might take a couple of hours of discussion because it gets into security concerns that are going to be set by university policy. So, and plus, I'm going to need at least a couple of weeks' notice to get all those created. And nobody is even able yet to give me a list of the nodes that are going to be uploaded. So, I think we're some weeks out from this, from being able to do this.
Okay. Yeah, I guess for now, sticking to the token should be okay.
Does there exist a copy or a running version of was it LFTP for the Raspbian OS?
There is. Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have to.
That's not all you need. You need the Python script that does the uploader a la DRF that
Okay.
Bill has developed,
So we've got some homework to
as
do.
well as the uploader config file for each node, as he mentioned. So there's quite a lot to think about before
Yeah.
this can be done, and it's got to be done before the disks fill up.
Uh-oh.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear my drive gasping in the back in the background there.
Okay.
I mean, the alternative is to hope that, you know, count on the disks arriving safely at the University of Alabama and doing the conversion there. But that's the risk that
Yeah, I think for this once in a lifetime opportunity, we don't want to risk losing it.
at least for the eclipse day.
Yeah,
would
that
agree.
would take some duct tape around the head to keep your head from exploding.
Well, one possible option that occurred to me, it might not be practical, but you could add one of the new hard drives to one of these systems and do the conversion over to that new hard drive. If we're planning on adding hard drives anyway, and then upload from that. And that's one possible approach that might. I think we're going to run out of space on a lot of these drives.
Yeah. So if you add the new hard drive, that depends on having a spare USB port.
Yeah, and a controller
Right.
for it.
Or using a hub.
A USB port and enough power too. Didn't we have some issues with power running the drive at
Yep.
some point?
Right.
Yep.
So you really probably need a USB hub to do
Now,
that.
you can use a powered USB hub too.
Yeah,
That's what I had to do on my station.
yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is do it to a jump drive.
Yeah.
That simplifies a lot because you don't need a big jump drive to do that. That probably would make more sense. Because to buy another controller for the hard drive is for each system getting expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm thinking a USB 3 jump drive would probably be the best way.
Just a small SSD would serve. I
Yeah.
think.
Like a USB stick. Is that what
Yes.
it's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 16 and 32 gig ones are so cheap these days.
Okay.
Just another thought, what we also could do is buy the jump drives, ship them with the new drive, and have a script that just copies those 6 or 8 or 10 days worth of data onto the jump drive as well
Yeah.
as a copy. In case the hard drive went south, we would still have it. But then that requires Bill would have to be able to. Bill would be getting 2 drives then, one with the sacred data and the other stuff, the other big drive. But that could simplify things. But it pushes the processing again back to Bill.
Well, I'm already starting to think that this is something I'm going to be working on for the next year, probably, to get all this done. So what's another few weeks?
Yeah.
Fortunately, we got a 4-year extension on the project. So I did go into the university and have them allocate me an office specifically for this, that's lockable, where the secretary who manages that area is going to stick the drives in there as they arrive. And that's right next to where we have the stack of machines that I can plug the drives into. Also, just by way of information, I did some experiments with running the CSV to DRF conversion, looking to see how much of a difference compression makes. And because compression adds quite a bit of processing to it, and I found out that the compression, doing the compression during the CSV to DRF conversion, it only saves you about 10% on space, because this data is not easily compressible because it's a bunch of binary data anyway.
Yeah.
But it increases the processing time by a probably more percentage than that. But what's even worse is that when you get ready to plot the data, the compression multiplies the time to plot the data by 5x. So something that takes I think it was 1,200 seconds to do the plot, takes about 500 seconds, 500 seconds, something like that, if it's not compressed. So I'm thinking on this end, when I do the conversion here, I'm probably just not going to run compression. I'll just save do the CSV to DRF conversion uncompressed, because that greatly speeds up the plotting. And it doesn't make that much of a difference on space. So,
Right.
Okay. Any questions or comments or concerns on this? Yeah, I feel like just as for the moment, it's the most time sensitive thing we have. Okay. Bill, any other updates from you?
That's all I had, thanks.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions, comments, or concerns on Grape 2 recovery? Rob, are you on today? Actually, that might be a maybe not. Let's see if Michael is on. Okay, I don't see anyone from the antenna team. If there are any updates, please correct me.
Nobody's radiating, huh?
Okay, does anyone have any other questions, comments, or concerns or updates?
Just one comment about the upcoming workshop. I sent out emails to everyone, I hope, to everyone who was submitted an abstract for either an oral presentation or a poster with some templates and some other information yesterday. So if you got that, great. And if for some reason you didn't see that and you think you were missed, let me know and I'll figure out what happened. That's it.
Actually, that's more of the up and announcements. It's pretty important. Put this in quotes. Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
Think I'm good here.
Okay.
I think I'm in enough trouble here.
I think that's everything then. 73.
7-3.
73, everybody.
73, everybody.
Take care.
7-3.
Bye.